All right, all right. Hello, everyone. So good to be here at my alma mater school, UCLA. Go Bruins, yay! I just want you to know how fantastic this school is. I have taught at 15 different public and private universities, and UCLA is one of the best. So take advantage of all the resources, of all the possibilities. The faculty, just like a sponge, just soak it all in, because this place is just so good, so special that you go, you know what? I'm going to come back for my master's and my PhD. So, so let's move forward. Thank you so much for introducing me. And my name again is Milka Broukhim, and I'm a multidisciplinary designer and a creative strategist for branding and visual communication design. And as I just mentioned, an educator for 15 years. I want to thank, before I start my presentation, I want to thank the entire innovative design team at UCLA for all the efforts putting this event together. It's not easy, you guys. It takes a lot of organization and events and planning and collaboration. And thank you so much for inviting me to present my work and my students. So let's give them a big hand. All right. Before I start my presentation, just to give you a quick highlight of my professional background, I'm very humbled to say that one of my students, what do you know, started Snapchat. And I was the first visual communication designer leadership hire at his company. And as the creative lead design at Snap, I was honored to design the brand identity for Snapping, which is the parent company of Snapchat, Bitmoji, Spectacles, for its IPO. How many of you guys use Snapchat? Yay! We'll use more tonight, today. So I designed many of its foremost creative design efforts across product, business, and brand development. And it's been very thrilling to contribute to the company's growth as well, from 30 people to over 3,000 people, as I was designing materials to recruit people. I also designed many of its internal brand identity for the team and the departments and the events. And Evan Spiegel, my student, is the one with the gray sweatshirt in the middle. You've seen him, you know it. Moving forward, I'm also a design educator, teaching visual communication design at various schools in Southern California, as well as online since the pandemic, to over 2.5 million subscribers on Christo's YouTube. Do you guys know Christo? Christo, the future? Oh, check him out. You guys will learn a lot. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, he's a colleague of mine from Art Center, so he's not a fake. he's real, and he has a lot of good words of wisdom about branding and developing your own business as an entrepreneur, if you're interested to learn. I also teach privately, one-on-one, mentoring various designers across the globe. And it's my passion working with the future visionary leaders, just like many of you guys in this room, impacting the design and the technology industry as we speak. So my presentation today, I'd like to share some of my work and methodologies in cultivating our experimental innovation beyond technology. But we all know that how important technology is, right? It allows us to make things cheaper, faster, and better, right? And how many of you guys are using AI? All right. Isn't it addictive? It's like, I have a question. Oh, my teacher is right there. So we all know how it's important it is to stay up to date with advanced technology, because if you don't use it, then you're going to stay behind. And the obvious thing about technology, especially AI, is that it's a very empowering and enabling tool. And by staying ahead of the curve, we're able to attract clients and opportunities for us. So I know you guys are all very young, and you're getting exposed to a lot of opportunities and technologies, but down the line, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if you don't continue with educating yourself, you're going to be like, oh, forgive me for saying this, I'm too old to know. No, you're not. Technology is like a language. All you have to do is just keep maintaining it, relearning and learning and learning. That's what it takes. So you can see a lot of people in their senior citizens that they're on the edge of the technology. Why? Because they are maintaining that language as we speak. And moving forward, I want to share a very special quote by my late professor from Art Center, Roland Young. And he would always tell us, computer is just a very fancy pencil. It's not going to do the work for you, right? It's not going to be there to do the thinking for you. You obviously have to do the articulation of what is it that you want it to do for you. So having that in mind, as advanced technology opens up and new exciting opportunities, we also need to be aware of how to go beyond our limitations of solely relying on the latest innovations. So let's not be aware of that and not use it as a crutch. Why? Because it could lead us to become dependent by entrusting our wisdom and the danger of not developing our hands-on creative skills and experiences to this model. And most important of all, I know many of you guys are learning about human-centric, right? Human centricity, sustainability. Most important of all, we need to develop our senses and our intuition, okay? And be able to think outside the box for innovative design thinking. Otherwise, we're all gonna have our work look the same and be the same. If you want to be innovative, I'm just saying. Otherwise, hey, but there's nothing wrong with being same, doing the same work. I come from a design creative background, so it's my job to push my colleagues and students and mentors to go above and beyond their creative ability. So nurturing our human senses that guide our intuition and our creativity is an important factor for any designer and entrepreneurs. In that case, how do we nurture the human-centric through the lens of technology in a non-tech design process to nurture our human-centric talent and capabilities? And this question, this notion of how we might be limiting our potentials by depending on advanced technology traces me back to my MFA thesis at Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. It was there, also at UCLA, because I was a fine art major here as well. It was then that I realized when we're fearless to make mistakes, when we're open to exploring other possibilities and getting our hands wet with a variety of methodologies and hybridizing, and how this fearlessness allows for our creative potentials to be unleashed in discovering exciting new findings, as I'm about to show you some of my work of my students later on. But first, let me show you some of my work through this process. Excited at the opportunity to explore new solutions when I was at for my thesis. I wanted to create some experimental typographic work by combining analog and digital technology together. So I would start by crafting my designs digitally, go on the computer, design it, lay out, print it out, then use the physical tools, cutting and pasting, photocopying it. Photocopy, do we have photocopy still? And then once I'm satisfied with the physical design that I have created with my hands and use my senses, then I would scan it into the computer and of course use the digital applications to enhance it even further. And what was really interesting about this process that I was like, wow, look at these results, look at these abstract visual forms that bring out such emotional experiences. And it was like stumbling into my subconscious mind by accident, uncovering different meanings and coming up with different ideas that I hadn't even planned for. And I couldn't have achieved by just designing it on the computer. Had I gone in front of the computer and sat down and say, hey, AI, design, I don't know how I would explain it to AI, but I'm not sure if this would come out. So as we can see, we can't just rely on the computer. It's really important to rely on a variety of methodologies and applications as we move forward. And here's a good example. I totally trusted my gut and went with the human-centric approach using my intuition to navigate through the uncertainty. And it opened up a whole series of really interesting possibilities and led me to some interesting design concepts that I never saw it coming. For instance, here, the concept that I came up with subconsciously is that through the process of making a metaphorical parallel in that just as how SOS kills germs and saves lives, so does the intrinsic and dedicated mother or parent, but in my case, a mother, for the life of her baby and children. And what's so interesting here is that this piece of artwork coincides with the birth of my first child. So, hungry to learn more about non-traditional creative approaches and how to use different strategies to unlock creative potentials, I researched some of the experimental work of underground avant-garde filmmakers. I did some art history, design history, very, very valuable, you guys, very valuable. Don't take it for granted. And I looked into some of these filmmakers and avant-garde animators in the late 50s and 70s to see how they brought innovation to filmmaking in their groundbreaking and unconventional ways. For instance, Stan Brakhage, he experimented scratching and manipulating the film surface using exposures. If you're interested to learn more, check out the movie Seven. It's a film title sequence. Check out the film title sequence of the movie Seven, designed by Kyle Cooper, which was influenced by this experimentation process. I highly recommend you check it out. Just see the film title sequence for Seven. And Bruce Conner, who did a lot of collages and by finding objects at various places, putting them together. Norman McLaren, a pioneer in animation technique and stop animation. Anybody from the DMA department, Design Media Art department? Awesome, because I know you, tell me, are you guys still doing stop animation? Not anymore. Okay, they were teaching it till not long ago, so it was by Rebecca Allen, so I'm not sure if it's there or not. Oscar Fissinger, he was really amazing because he synchronized visual elements with music. Can you imagine how hard it must have been back then? Right now, you tell the app, synchronize it, and it does it for you, boom, boom, boom. But check these things out because there's some other hands-on touch and feel to it. And imagine if you just combine that with what we can do now. And moving forward, I was so motivated by these groundbreaking contributions. I'm like, I'm interested to create my own film title sequence designs and capture the essence of the film through expressing it with typography. And I wanted to have images unveil the story through motion graphics. And I experimented with design on materials such as transparencies. Here you see Mylar, Super 8, hybridizing using old technologies such as Polaroid camera. I think you guys are getting some Polaroid camera today, right? I saw that as one of the gifts. Yay. Good job, recycling old technology. Polaroid camera, Super 8 film projectors, photocopy machines, video camera, just to name a few, anything I could get my hands on. And then transfer it to TV. Hey, TV is another technology, right? And recapture it again with a digital camera and create some really cool effects. And then edit it in After Effects to create a motion graphic design work. Due to our limited time, I'm not showing my motion graphics, but instead, if you're interested, please visit my website, type in motion to see the videos and let me know your thoughts. It's www.milka.design. And my work at the top are password protected. Come to me, I'll tell you what it is. It's being recorded, so I can't say it. But the bottom three are open. You can see my work, my students' work, and so on and so forth. And my fine art from the far right is from UCLA, where it planted the seed in me. So, as a creative, I have continued in developing these innovative experimental strategies. And as an educator, I've been sharing them. I've been sharing this experimental design process with my students by teaching the methodologies to inspire them and release my students' creative intuition and unleash some groundbreaking solutions, which I'm about to show you. Oh wait, hold on. I'm supposed to do something here. Oh yeah. Let's see if it's gonna play. Here's one way where we are experimenting and playing around. So you can't work this fast on the computer. Done by hand. Okay, so in order to explore innovative strategies for unleashing creative potential, guess what? We need to do one thing, first and foremost. Anyone can guess? It's mental. I'll give you a hint. The answer is up there. It's important for us to embrace uncertainty. That's difficult. Celebrating failure. What? Welcoming serendipity. Failing forward. It's so much fun because happy mistakes and happy accidents are discovered. I hear laughter there. Yeah, well, let's talk. We'll collaborate. So there are many tools and processes that we use, and here's some of them, as you can see, where they're showing you they're using ice, cutting and pasting, crumbling, using the fisheye lens. I have students who drive their car over their work. Freeze it, defrost it, break it with a hammer, so on and so forth. The process is really exciting. Anything in your kitchen that you can get your hands on, or in your bathroom, in the bathtub, have fun. Just don't use fire, because that could be dangerous. I did have a student who did use fire, and he was telling us that how his hair caught on fire, because he had big hair. It was both scary and funny when he was telling us. So the results of the work, doing the experimental typography, is very exhilarating. And as you can see, it allows them to explore and try to do things that it's okay if things go wrong. And let's see what happens if we do something that we never thought about. One of the downfall of digital space, I don't mean to put it down, there's a lot of pros about digital space and platforms, is that it's highly engineered and very structured. Would you agree? Very rigid. And it doesn't leave much room for the serendipity and the happy accident that comes from the freedom and the experimentation. It's like flying, it's like being on cloud 9 to some extent. And starting a creative journey means being okay with not having all the answers, seeing mistakes as opportunities to discover solutions, and embracing new ways of thinking to incorporate diverse ideas for unexpected results. That's why when we work together, it's so powerful, because all of us can bring different diverse ideas and bring it together and create something bigger. And by valuing diverse resources and exploring ideas from every angle, individuals can unleash their creative potential and discover unseen opportunities here. Who would have known you could have typography on your toast? These approaches not only encourage a free flow of ideas, as you can see, somebody printed the typography on their body. And my favorite is the one where they used plastic aluminum foil inside the microwave. Bottom left corner. and harness the potential to innovate beyond traditional boundaries. As you can see here, they're using water, a lot of water and oil. Oh, do we have a lot of scientists in this room? This is when your scientist comes out. If you make sure you take all the cool classes at UCLA. Don't be afraid of the grades. Take them for pass or pass. Take physics. Take biology, science. It pays off. I'm telling you, it comes around. And I found this experimental process help one to step out of their comfort zone and to take risk and fail forward in exciting ways to boost creative thinking. We should have a workshop after this workshop. Also, the design process actually becomes a conversation. A conversation between who? Between your artwork and the creator. And it becomes a dialogue as you start nurturing your intuition. Have you guys experienced that? When you're doing something, you notice there's a conversation between you and your work. Next time you go to a craft workshop, don't talk to anybody and allow your craft to speak back to you and see what happens. It's really magical. And encourage yourself to ask, what if? What if I do this? What if I do that? And don't allow the word no to discourage you to do it. As long as you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting anyone, I think you should be safe. So I use this metaphor as an example. Design with your foot on the gas pedal, metaphorically speaking. If you're doing it, actually it's dangerous, but metaphorically, I think it helps you to know, just unleash and go. And it's a call to infuse imagination, sparking creativity in every corner, exploring endless possibilities. And you'll be like, wait, what app did you use? I can't find that in Photoshop or in Midjourney. In the experimental process, active exploration, discovering new possibilities, and in rebuilding innovative ideas, advances our creative thinking, developing novel approaches to solutions and problems that we didn't know about and we didn't think about. And by creating this continuous, unrestricted flow of explorations and ideas, it unlocks creativity and harnesses the potential for groundbreaking discoveries and design solutions. Can you guys feel the schizophrenia here? Do you feel it? Isn't that amazing? So, as I asked, the question of exploration and the creative evolution is, it requires to ask, what if? And what if is what motivates you to get your curiosity going. Please write that down. Curiosity is a good thing. Don't lose it. You know how they say curiosity killed the cat? I think that comes from probably people who didn't have the answers or didn't know what to say. But curiosity is a good thing, you guys. It's about exploring and discovering new findings. I encourage that. And so let's see what happens if we, besides cutting and pasting and doing things by hand, what if we apply the third and fourth dimension by applying time and space? What if we take these into motion? And I wanted to use motion graphics to liberate these concepts. Like, for instance, the one that you saw here, this is not in motion. This is all, prints. So the question was, how do you liberate that in motion? And how do you unfold the story? And how do you create another layer of meaning to evoke emotions and touch the heart to make an impact? So I'd like to share some of my motion graphic examples of some of my students expressing what I just told you. And these assignments is to reveal expressive interpretation of a word or a poem through time and movement using none and any advanced digital tools. Are you guys ready? It's really exciting. So this storyboard is called Doll Dog. It's a storyboard that we're seeing here. And the student, Griselda Villarreal. She used stop animation, hands, and literally she would move one image by one and take a picture, iPhone and After Effects, to create this very compelling and visual seductive result, leading to a very memorable and meaningful communication of ideas. And there's no sound. We don't have any sound. The sound is up here. The sound is up there. We just need sound. Folks, give me a minute. The sound is really important. No, that's not it.
Oh, that's not?
Oh, that one was, but it was mixed with something. Thank you guys for your patience. Accidents are okay.
Sorry, there you go.
Okay, sweet. It's worth it. It's so worth it. All right. We did do a run test, by the way, just so you know. If we can keep the lights on, thank you so much. If we can turn that one off as well, that would be even more awesome. Thank you guys. What'd you think? Well, thank you. Oh, let's go to the next. All right, this one is another really cool one, totally done by hand. Very simple, very clever, made all by hand with an iPhone and sound edit. Ready? Here we go. And she used reverse methodology. And that was by Melina Rivera, called Fusion. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. One more time. I can never get enough of that. All right, here we go. So this is by another student. Actually, this is from UCLA when I taught at UCLA. It's called I Found Something by Justin Davidson, where he used a fish tank, water movements, transparency, paintbrush, video, and TV to express his theme. Amazing, amazing. And, oh, sorry. Here we go. Next. Another UCLA design student, This one is called I Shall Imagine by Tyler Camachi, where he's creating a very powerful, emotional, ephemeral, like piece of motion graphics by using ink and water to express his theme. Oh, keeps doing that. All right. That was good, wasn't it? Nice. It really moves me every time I look at it. So, hey, that what if doesn't stop, does it? As we have more and more technology coming up. And here's the thing, I'm curious to know as we continue, what would be like if we hybridized this variety of media and methodologies and get our hands on combining it with immersive space and the fluid space of AR and VR. Any of you guys are experienced working in the AR, VR space yet? Awesome, great, great. Is that, which department is that? Or is that on your own?
I'm not a speaker, so
Oh, okay.
I want to support you, so I know how hard it is.
Thank you, thank you. We'll talk more. All right, moving forward. So I'm gonna wrap this up now. 1 plus 1 plus equals 3, what? That's not what we learned. It's another metaphor for when you combine ideas. The combination of separate ideas gives you a greater whole. It's a Gestalt theory, and how we can achieve more by, again, combining things, hybridizing things, seeking each other's opinion. I'm hoping that if anything, that has inspired you is to ask yourself, what's it like to embrace uncertainty? Because as the technology comes in again, we need to be adaptable, we need to be flexible, we need to embrace uncertainty, and we need to feel comfortable navigating through the ambiguity of if you're going to work, for instance, in a tech company, which when I was working at Snap, that was like every day, all the time. And you have to embrace it and enjoy it. And I think going through these processes that I just shared with you, that empowered me, empowered my intuition, empowered my self-esteem or self-confidence to not allow these uncertainty get the best of me and actually embrace it and move forward and create exciting things as I showed you above earlier on. With that, I want to say that I enjoy co-creating and working with others. I also mentor. If you ever need me, please reach out. You can connect with me on Snapchat, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Instagram, I need to start with my more professional work, but LinkedIn, I'm very active. Please reach out and connect with me. Drop a note, let me know where you know me from, so this way I can stay my connection with you, and I'd love to stay in touch with all of you guys, please. And that's all, folks. So question and answer. Thank you. If you like, we can turn on the light now, if you like. I give you guys a minute to think. I know it takes some time. Yes.
Where do you look for inspiration, creativity?
Where do I look for inspiration and creativity? That's a good question. Let me go on this. So where do you look for creativity and inspiration? It's actually everywhere. It's everywhere you think about it. If I ask you to look in this room and look for whoever is wearing a red sweater. Look around, look around. How many people do you see is wearing a red sweater? Okay, look at me, close your eyes. How many people are wearing a blue sweater? Open your eyes and look. Okay, sorry to put you on the spot. But you see how it's there? We just have to open up our antennas. And as you're walking from your class to the next class, or from your dormitory to your next class, just look and feel and see and ask yourself what if and wonder about everything, you know. Exercise our imagination is very important. And that's one thing for the future of technology, our imagination. Because we can tell AI what to do. And by the way, we need to, at this moment, we need to learn how to articulate our ideas to AI at this moment. That they're working on how to empower users. So if you don't know how to articulate, you know, give me this zoom close-up shot of this house from a hat shot. You know, we may not know this terminology. They're trying to facilitate that for us, but we still need to learn how to communicate our ideas. So communication is very important. And did I answer your question? Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Does a lot of your work involve yourself collaborating and working with other people from different departments and like backgrounds in general?
Okay, good question. So the question is about, do you do a lot of collaboration, working with others? As an educator, I feel like I do, because I find my students to be my co-creators and co-collaborators. So we're, as you saw that little video that I showed you, where we're like, you know, remember that first video that I showed you where we were cutting and pasting typography on the floor? We were all working together, collaborating to discover ideas. At work, it depends where you're working, but you will find yourself probably working with a lot of multidisciplinary teams. Like when I was working at TerraTrue as well as Snapchat, I was working with engineers, I was working with finance, with a lot of stakeholders, executives. So you'll be working with a lot of different variety of people. And that's why, in my opinion, I think at UCLA, when you're getting all this amazing liberal education, it's going to pay off in the long run, because then you're going to understand what the finance person is talking about, and you're going to understand what the engineering, team is talking about, or the design department, or the communications department, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? And psychology, human resource, and all that. Yeah. Does that answer? Is that good? Yeah. Yes.
You mentioned you started off as like a fine arts undergrad, so I wonder why did you move towards design?
Okay, great question. So the question is, why did I move from fine art to design? I was very young, I was 18 years old, and so I got really scared. I was like, whoa, this is going above my head. I was too young to understand these amazing theories that they were teaching us, but it planted the seed in me. Because when I went to graduate school, everything, boom, 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 I was like, oh yeah, I get it now. I know what they were talking about. And at the time, I switched to design because, for me, design made a lot of sense. Because design is about functionality and aesthetics. How do you use aesthetics to engage and to communicate a meaningful message for what that product or service is about, and can help you and facilitate you? Good question, thank you. In fact, I always say I double major at UCLA. I studied fine art completely, and then I switched to design. And it took me 5 years to graduate from UCLA. I had only one class to take to graduate, so I held on to it till I took all the classes I wanted to take. I love UCLA. Who was next?
functional design while also being like realistic. So it's like how do you combine like practicality and also
Yeah, great question. So you want to. So don't worry about functionality. You'll get there. The world wants you to be functional. So it's about how do you come up with innovative ideas that facilitates that functionality. That's the imagination. That's what's going to put you on the next level. It's like, wow, I never thought of that. I wish I had thought of that. And of course, you don't want to just think about it. You also want to do it, execute it. I mean, Evan Spiegel is a great example. He thought about this ephemeral app, and he co-collaborated with his roommate, who is an engineer, Bobby Murphy, and they started the business together. So we have to create and carve out a space to play. We forget to play. We really do. I mean, I see kindergartens, little kids, we're trying to say, oh, don't touch that, you're gonna get your hands dirty. So what? It's gonna wash off, what's more important, your experience or the piece of cloth that, that it's not gonna fit you in about 6 months. And that's how I look at it. My daughter, when she was a toddler, and I was going to graduate school, at that time too, I wanted to have some time to work. So what I did is I converted her bathroom into a painting studio. And I used tempera paint. Tempera paint comes off. And she would go in there for like a good half an hour. That's a long time for a toddler. And just paint. And before I knew it, she was painting the walls, the mirror, the bathroom. And she had a great time. So that was awesome. And I think that helped her to loosen up. Because she's a type A personality. I hope she's not watching this. She's very structured. That's how she was born. And I always called her, you were born as a CEO, you have those traits. But I feel like those loosening up perspectives helped her in the long run. I see that in her. Yeah, good question. Was that good? Anyone else? Does there be somebody online who has a question? I'll let you guys take care of it in the back. Yes, the lady.
First, I just want to say I've seen your videos on the Future Academy. I watched them back in 2020. I binge watched all of them, and I recognized you when you got up. I was like, oh my god, it's Milka. I'm having a little moment. But I just wanted to ask. This is kind of a boring question, but how did you know when you were ready for grad school to go straight into it? Did you take a break?
Yeah, that's a good question. Grad school, it took me 7 years to go to graduate school. I knew that I wanted to go to the next step. I knew that UCLA had provided a very fantastic, solid foundation for me. I felt very well-rounded. I felt like I can definitely think. But I knew that I needed to sharpen my saw, learn my tools, and also enhance my critical thinking ability. And because I wanted to be a designer, I was in the design field. Art Center was a great fit to go to. It had everything that I was looking for: both practicality and the critical thinking and the theory and the concept strategy that is really important to have that. And I wanted to teach. I really wanted to teach. So that's what prompted me. I think it's important to give yourself a couple of years before you go to grad school. Because then you know what's happening in the outside world. And use your graduate degree or the time to work backwards. What do I mean? Let's say you want to start an app. Let's say you want to start a business or a service, you have some idea. Use that during your graduate school to really build it. Because you have all the resources, you have the teachers, everything is there. Take advantage of it that way. Don't just go to graduate school because I don't know what to do. That's my suggestion, is to really milk that graduate school. I'm actually thinking of going to go get my PhD. the AR, the VR that I talked to you about, I'm like, where can I take this as a next step? So that might prompt me and have the laboratory that I need to have access to, in order to do that. Yeah, you're never told. Education continues. You have to learn and relearn. I said that earlier on, right? It's like learning a language. Thank you. Are you planning to become a designer, by the way? Are you a designer?
Yeah, I do like UX writing. I'm not so much a visual design person, although that is something that I'm trying to improve my skills in. I'm just exploring a lot of different
Nice. What's your major, please?
linguistics.
Fantastic. Oh, good. Oh, you make a good AI artist. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Yeah.
I
Please.
talked a lot about like experimentation and just being curious as being very, very valuable, which is really cool to see all of the experimental art. But on top of that, what do you think is your biggest piece of advice for kind of a lot of us who are probably going into the job industry soon, finding internships and like going into early careers?
Great question. So how do you survive when you go to the outside world? It starts right now. Let me tell you, you see everyone in this room, they can be your co-workers, they can be your partners, they can be your boss, or direct report, or vice versa. So it starts right now. Network. I really regret that I took that for granted when I graduated UCLA. Back then we didn't have, social media. Back then we would, exchange phone numbers. I really regret that I took it for granted and I didn't stay in touch with many of my friends. I wonder about them. Where are they? What are they doing? And I try to search them on LinkedIn. So that's where it starts, your network. Because one of your coworkers is going to get a job and they're going to be like, oh, we're looking for somebody like you. I'm going to call her and reach out and hire her or ask her to come in. The other one is get an internship before you graduate. Get your hands and feet wet, because once you go to the outside world, then yeah, it becomes a lot more challenging. And anything else, folks out there, you guys recommend? I know there's more.
Yeah, I gave some recommendations, so hopefully, yeah, that ties in with what you
Yeah.
so.
Network. And then when you start your job, be open, be like a sponge. Oh, by the way, if you get an internship, let's say you get an internship after UCLA, there are internships, and they're paying you minimum wage. And you're like, man, I have to pay my rent. How am I going to afford this? Look at it this way. That internship is a continuous education. But instead of you paying them, they're paying you. And it's only 2 months or 3 months. So look at it in that perspective. Always look at the cup half full or half empty. There's always a reverse to it. Internships are very valuable because that's where you make your connections. And I always tell my students, go above and beyond. Don't just do 100%, do 120. But you might get burnout, so don't listen to me. I think we're entered an era where we think we could be, we could have a balance. Great question. Anyone else? Yes. How do you deal with burnout? Ooh, I just discovered something. A friend of mine who's vegan, she encouraged me to go to this vegan conference. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. High cholesterol, high, diabetes. And I'm like, what's going on? I eat fine. I don't eat, anything bad. And I learned tons of things about veganism, and I tried it out for 3 months, and my blood test, went in terms of cholesterol and diabetes, everything went down. I felt rejuvenated, I felt energized. I'm like, wow, I just found the fountain of youth. So for me, veganism right now is helping a lot. You have to take a lot of proteins. I'm not going to get into that because you don't want to eat just bread. A lot of water. Definitely sleep. Definitely play. Play is very crucial. I know that when we're working, like when I was working at Snap, I loved working there. I enjoyed my time so much. I enjoyed it so much that I was working 18 hours a day, almost 5 to 7 days a week. I loved it for 5 years. And then when I came out, I was like, oh shoot, I can't move. You get into the zone, that's the thing. So take advantage of the vacation time they give you guys. Keep yourself definitely diverse and expose yourself to a lot of things. I think play is a very important thing. Don't forget not to play. And I'm not talking about video game play, like sit in front of your iPhone and play games. Go out there and move your body and play. Or do VR games. Ooh, Sabbath, that's my favorite. Good question. Anyone else? Yes?
Let's ask like for advice because I feel like I have a lot of different interests that don't seem to like fit together sometimes. And I was wondering like how should we prioritize how we yeah.
Good question. Yeah, so if you have a lot of interests, you know, you want to do so many things, how do you prioritize? How do you prioritize? Let me share a metaphor with you. What comes in my mind is a conductor. A conductor never started as a conductor. A conductor probably played violin. Oh, I'm not good at it, I suck at it. Play flute, I'm okay at it. Play cello, not bad. Play drums, hey, this is cool, but it's not going to pay the bills. I don't know, just making it up. And you know, in the end, the conductor, because he or she has played the different instruments, has that knowledge, that well-rounded knowledge to put it together and has a better understanding and empathy. Empathy is the next thing, you guys, the next big thing, by the way.
Next big thing.
To be aware of. No, it is, you know, at work, when you're working, you know, empathy goes a long way when you have empathy for your coworkers. It goes a long way. When they know that you care about them and you're a considerate, mindful person, it goes a long way. Yeah. Anybody online has a question? Do we know if anybody on? No? Do we have time for? No? We have time for one more, I think. Yes? It's a few minutes. No? Okay. We're good. Just come and see me after the whole thing. Thank you so much, everyone. Our pleasure. Thank you.